We have an awesome show for you guys today.
The greatest eventer of all time.
Good news for the sport. Welcome to the John and Rick Show, brought to you by Horse Trailer Pros, and we're here in the Stressless studio. It is a huge day for us, Rick. This is episode 100.
Oh my gosh, it is.
It is episode 100, and we've been back and forth on this, but I
Right.
think we're okay to say this, and if we're not, we'll get told we're not.
I think we should do a party.
We're going to do a party, and
That's
it's going to
awesome.
be, that's why I brought my calendar up here.
Right.
It is going to be March 24th, right? That's the date we selected.
Okay.
We all agreed on. If that changes, we'll let you guys know. But
March
as of now,
24th
March
it is.
24th, it'll be here at the Stressless Studio, brought to you by Horse Trailer Pros. And we're going to have a great time to
100
celebrate
episodes.
100 shows. Technically, by then it'll be like 103, but whatever. It's gonna
Right,
be
but
awesome.
that's fine. But it's been a good 100 episodes.
I think we've been incredible myself.
It's been a fun time. Joel's been great. Couldn't have done it without the Joel and all the sound and filming and editing and keeping us under control.
It's a thankless job for sure. So we're not going to say thank you because then it's not thankless.
Exactly.
Right.
But hey, it's been busy. It's already February.
Well, the first week of February.
So
We're the 18th today.
but we're really moving through. Things are starting to happen fast. Ocala just happened.
Yep.
Rocking Horses already had 2 events so
Yep.
far. We're rolling into the Lucinda Clinic that's coming up,
Yes.
and that's going to be exciting.
Yeah, we've got Lucinda coming into town, and then we have William coming in
Foxpit.
as well. So the next show is going to be Lucinda and William, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
This show is Selena Ohanlon from Canada and Yvonne Ocrant, who's going to give us all sorts of legal advice and probably tell us we need to get all of you guys to sign liability waivers or something.
Look, everybody out there, she is a great lawyer, but also what's so great about her is she knows horses
Yep.
and horse law and syndicates and everything that's involved with it. I've used her a lot. Unfortunately, I've had to use her a lot for some things. But she's really, really good. So I'm excited to pose some questions to her. And Selena, she's a great Canadian rider. I can't wait to catch up with her and see what's going on.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a fun show. We should make sure we remind everybody as well to go to centrallinedistribution.net, use the promo code JR24 to get your 20% off of all of your Stressless.
Yep, right here, Stressless in a bottle.
Yep, or a jar.
So things have been going on. We've had some communications back and forth, and I think we probably should talk about it a little bit.
Yep.
I'm not wearing a penny because
Well, because you chose not to.
I chose not to. And I think there's been a lot out there about what happened in Ocala, wearing the pennies for every phase, and both you and I have opinions about it.
Yep.
I mean, we're allowed to have opinions.
Yep.
And we're allowed to express those opinions. And
And the cool part is we have our own show, so we can do to talk about it. Right.
But I want everybody to know out there, it has nothing to do with not wanting to help out the volunteers.
Right.
It's a whole different line of how I felt that went down, and I still to this day I'm a little bit miffed, and so nothing against Emily either. Emily does a great job. She organizes. She tries hard. She does a lot of events, and for me, and this is for my opinion, I don't want to wear a penny in every face. I decided not to go to this event, and I didn't go.
Right.
So what's your side?
Which is obviously the choice people are going to make. Is
Right.
If it matters to them, then they may not go. It's tough, right? Because I want to support the event. It's our local event. Jay Hambly's my friend. Emily's my friend. I want to support that event, and I will. The thing that bothers me about it, and I'm not sure that it's just that it naturally went that way, or if it was just as people were making their arguments, it became that.
Right.
But the only thing I would say is it got to a place where it felt like if you didn't want to wear the penny, then it was assumed you didn't support volunteers.
Right.
And
Right.
I don't think that was entirely
I don't think
fair.
that's it at all.
But, whatever. At the end of the day, it's not like it's some major issue about the welfare of the sport or whatever. I just think, I'll say this. One of my owners came up to me in the middle of the competition. I had not said a word about anything to him. He saw me wearing my penny and said, "What in the bleep is that? Are you kidding me?" And then he sent me a picture of his horse coming out of the dressage ring and said, "This is such a joke. I would never buy a photo of my horse with somebody wearing that." And I think it's just about, we're trying to have good image and good perception of the sport. And I think it takes away from that. I think if you want to take in one photo or one video, you want to take a horse and rider, an event rider, and say they are less than, right? Less than a show jumper, less than a dressage rider. You put them in a penny, and then they go, "Oh, right, that's not actually a proper dressage rider. That's not actually a proper show jumper." It just makes you look a little bit, pardon the expression, because I love them, but it makes you look a little pony club.
Right, and I agree with you. I think it comes down to, and I think the big push on Emily's side is that she wanted her volunteers to be able to see who was who.
Yep.
When they're going into, having somebody at the ring steward and trying to get people in the rings. At the end of the day, it's the rider's responsibility to get into the ring. And look, if a rider gives a volunteer a hard time, have the TD go and slap him with the yellow card for unsportsmanlike conduct. But in my opinion, don't slap pennies on all of us. Some people have multiple horses. It's very hard to switch out. There's a lot of reasons why, but I do know that it does not look like my sport. When I showed up at the Ocala Horse Park, I go to WEC, it doesn't. You go to WEC and there's beautiful riders out there and their numbers on their backs or on their saddle pad. I go out to WEC to Ocala Horse Park, and it did, unfortunately, look like a bunch of pony clubbers.
Right. Which we love Pony Club.
We do. We love Pony Club. I mean, my kid was in Pony Club. That was Elisa.
Yep.
But I think the way that it came down and how it happened, and I'm going to say this, it wasn't in the omnibus on closing date that there would be a $100 fine if you didn't wear your penny.
Right.
It was not there. I can tell you it wasn't there until the Monday before the event.
Right.
So I think that was unfair.
Yep.
Because if it was by rule, we could have said we're not wearing it and put a bridle number on. That would have been it.
Right.
So I feel that was done wrong. If you're going to do something in the omnibus, do it before closing date so people know what's going on, and don't surprise them with a $100 fine when you get to the event.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's a superficial thing, but we don't like it.
Exactly.
Right. What about Shane Rose?
Hey, I can't believe that's happening, but look at what we're in now, right?
Yeah, so for those who don't know, Shane Rose was at a costume class in Australia, and he actually apparently rode in 3 costumes, I guess. I don't know how the class worked. And his last costume, which I think is hilarious,
right?
Which I might get in trouble for. Hopefully I don't get in big trouble. I thought it was funny, was the Borat Mankini. Kind of gross, but funny. For sure. And
covered all the private parts.
I'm assuming the idea, covered everything it was supposed to cover but I'm assuming the idea of the class was you get judged on your costume.
Right.
You're trying to be entertaining. Somebody got upset. Now, I will say it's being looked at. They haven't said he's suspended, and I hope that he just at worst gets like a, "Hey man, maybe don't do that again. That's kind of inappropriate." But it is interesting how he goes past a steward, I'm assuming, and officials, and nobody says anything. Let him go into the ring, and then somebody complains, and now he's sat down until they decide what to do. That just feels wrong.
It's unfortunate. It's where we are today, one extreme to another. And I brought this up to you. We did the Bromont sign years ago, right? I would hate for you to do that now.
Maybe need to take that out of YouTube.
But I think, and I think to your point, if somebody was having a hard time with that, and I think he wasn't showing anything. He was just, skin and stuff. But if you don't want somebody to look at it, then turn around and go out.
It's like if I was there with my little kid and didn't want him to see, I'd say, "Hey, let's go get a soda."
But they'll go, "Why? We're at the beach all the time."
Right. Yeah, I mean, look, I don't know Shane personally, but I'm assuming he was just trying to have some fun.
I'm sure he was. And we support you, Shane.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know there's a bunch on Facebook saying we support you, Shane. It's just sad that we're spending time on that. And
both of these topics.
Right, both. I mean, it's like
let's get to some real stuff.
Let's go forward, and I know we got some important events coming up. But what is your big plan for the season? What's your ultimate goal?
My personal ultimate goal? I'm gonna try to be at Ocala and then hopefully Maryland in the fall. That's it.
There you go.
That's what I got.
Well, I think we've got Kentucky as a plan.
Yeah.
Just for the 4 short. And
Yeah.
I think we have Tryon. And then, who knows in the fall?
Well,
We haven't gotten there yet.
I like to jump as far ahead as possible.
Yeah, well, fall will be
But
here.
not while jumping, but otherwise I do. Well, we should probably take a break.
Okay.
And we're going to get Selena Ohanlon in here next. Again, thank you to Horse Trailer Pros for being our presenting sponsor here, and our title sponsor here, I should say. Make sure if you guys have any problems with your horse trailers, maintenance, things you need to get checked on, go to Horse Trailer Pros. Matt and his team will take care of you. They are amazing.
And don't wait until you're on the road to say, I should have taken my horse trailer to Horse Trailer Pros.
Yeah, mine's going to go in this week. I got some
I've got to
lights
do it
out.
too. I've got to do the annual.
Yeah, it's time. It's time. So it's time, guys. Get them looked at. We are going to be right back with Selena. Want to advertise on the John and Rick Show? Contact John at 352-875-8622.
Or call Rick at 850-879-2649.
For a horse owner on the road, your trailer is essential. No one enjoys being stuck on the road. At Horse Trailer Pros, we repair, renovate, and maintain all makes and models of horse trailers. We work directly with your insurance company or manufacturer for warranty repairs and insurance claims. Our state-of-the-art facility provides quick turnaround and friendly customer service. Considering a living quarter conversion? We do those too. Find comfort on the road with Horse Trailer Pros. Call or text 352-804-2131. HorseTrailerPros.com.
Aero helmets represent real change for equestrian helmets, offering patented new technology and an unparalleled level of safety testing. It is the only Snell-certified helmet with MIPS on the market. Aero visors are interchangeable, meaning you can wear your Aero 3 ways, with a formal visor, a sun visor, and as a skull cap. Our shimmable liner means you can customize the fit for your head and your hairstyle. Upgrade to Aero today.
Hey, Rick here. Do you have a horse suffering from poor performance, anxiety and fear, low appetite, agitation, or nervousness? Stress Less can help. Stress Less, the hot horse remedy, is veterinarian-developed, all-natural formula that promotes calmness, focus, and mood balance in horses experiencing stress related to training, showing, racing, stall rest, and travel. This equine supplement encourages calmness, focus, and mood balance without affecting the motor skills or energy levels of your horse. It promotes a more willing and balanced temperament with no drowsiness or impaired function, resulting in increased focus, a calm mind, and a happier horse and rider. Try Stress Less today and see for yourself why we think Stress Less is the best hot horse remedy you will find. Check us out at centerlinedistribution.net and on Facebook and Instagram as Stress Less Horse Supplement.
Hey, it's John here. I just want to let you guys know I got back from schooling at Magnolia Sands Farm here in Ocala, Florida. Their cross-country field is perfectly suited for a first outing on a young horse or schooling your upper-level horse. Magnolia Sands offers over 110 jumps ranging from starter to intermediate, plus multiple banks, ditches, and waters. They're constantly updating their courses and have even added new ditches and a starter ditch wall. Conveniently located in Northeast Ocala, Magnolia Sands has made it easy for riders and trainers with online waivers, Venmo, and PayPal, and even offer a golf cart for guests. MagnoliaSandsFarm.com.
Equibrew, now available in the USA. It's a live probiotic that you feed daily to your horses. The live microbes go into your horse's gut and cleans up the gut wall, creating a healthy gut system.
Equibrew is an essential part of my feeding program. My horses love to eat it, and it does a really good job of promoting gut health and also good behavior and great performances.
It's something I recommend for all of your horses, no matter what they do in their careers.
It's so affordable, I can use it on all of my horses in the barn, not just my top horses.
Order Equibrew today by going to brickfieldnutrition.com or calling 850-879-2649. Welcome back to the John and Rick Show, brought to you by Horse Trailer Pros. I just almost messed up Horse Trailer Pros, John, but I got it.
You got it, well done.
We are in the Stress Less studio. We are joined by the beautiful Selena Ohanlon. Thanks for coming with us today at this beautiful studio that we have.
Yeah, it's lovely.
To have our guest in, and it is the Equibrew segment. And just so you know, Selena, Equibrew, in this wonderful bottle.
You're like Vanna White
I
over
feel
there.
like Lucille Ball and the Veggie Vitamin. But this is a live probiotic for horses. It's the only live probiotic on the market, and it's for everyday use for gut health for the horses. Makes everything you're feeding them work better, and it's a great live probiotic. So everybody out there, you can go to brickfieldnutrition.com to order it. And everybody, John feeds it, I feed it, and a lot of people do. We're going to have to give you a bottle to let you try
Excellent.
it.
I would love to.
All right, well, welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in. You are our Canadian this week on our show.
Honorary.
And you've been to the Olympics in Beijing, 2008.
Yep.
You made 16 but had to withdraw. Is that correct?
No, I made it with a lot of penalties.
You did go to 16.
You really need to update your Wikipedia page.
Truth.
Okay, so
I have
you
people for that.
yeah. So you were at Rio.
No, I was not at Rio. No,
Okay.
you're right. Sorry.
Okay.
I was thinking you were talking about Beijing.
Beijing,
No,
no,
yes.
Beijing,
No, I
you
did not
made it.
make it on the airplane.
Okay, good. All right.
But
Good,
more
good,
importantly,
good.
2010
Yes.
Yes,
at the World
Championships.
Championships.
Yeah.
That is legendary.
Yes,
It
silver.
is silver. Boom.
Yep.
How did that feel?
I learned a lot about teams. I was not a team player on sports. I did a little bit of volleyball. I have zero hand-eye coordination. So the one time I tried baseball, I got 2 black eyes. I came home.
Oh,
My
no.
mom said, "What happened?" So once the pitcher hit me in one eye with the ball, and I cried, and I went behind the chain link fence, and then they switched the field. So then I'm waiting for my turn to bat, and the biggest, strongest kid in the class, I must have just come out behind the chain link fence too early, and he pitched and he had swung the bat, he'd hit a home run or whatever, and he threw the bat behind him and it hit me in the other eye, so I came home. So I do not play ball
I
sports.
think I have the same kind of stories. No baseball. So
But David O'Connor taught me that you will learn like how important team members are, and you'll treasure these moments and everything, and he was exactly right.
well, that's cool. So David was your coach.
Yep, at the time.
So that was the first real team experience. You went to 2008, but
Yep.
2010 was one that was really successful.
Seriously memorable, that's
Yeah,
for sure.
sure.
And doing Young Riders taught me a lot. I very much promote Young Riders and suggest people do Young Riders because it's the closest thing you'll have to a team experience.
Man. Well, where in Canada are you from?
I'm actually originally from England, like Salisbury, England, but I moved away long before I got the cool accent. And then my
I
mom
mean, the
was-
Canadian accent is very cool, eh?
But my mom did dressage, pure dressage in England, and trained with Jenny Lawson Clark. And then we moved to Saskatoon as our first place moving out of there. And my mom won everything and also was like, the weather is terrible, we're out of here. So we moved to Ontario, and I lived in Oakville on Trafalgar Road at the old Sampson Farms. Lived there for about 13 years, and then I got to live at Checkmate Farms, which used to host the only what is now 4-star competition in Canada, and over 200 cross-country jumps, so it really taught me a lot about riding cross-country. And then I've been with my mom at the farm in Kingston for another kind of 15 years, and now I'm in Caledon because I wanted some hills, some access to some different events closer to the Toronto Pearson Airport,
Right.
and in an area where they have more vets and farriers and that sort of thing. So building up the Irish sales horse program, it was convenient because when people fly into Toronto, they can look at horses in one area, whereas Kingston, unless they're going to Quebec or Toronto or passing through, it was harder to get multiple clients to see the horses.
So you got centrally located.
Yeah, I'm kind of now out on my own a little bit. My mom still does all the accounting, and I owe everything to her. She's like, "Oh, you want to move? You want to separate the business?" No. I just want to move a little closer to the airport.
Right.
Yeah.
So 2008, which horse did you take there?
Colombo.
Colombo. That's what I thought. I love Colombo.
Oh my gosh.
I was saying, and I think I've told you this.
Yes.
How, and I think it's kind of a cool story. It's my,
Very
yeah,
cool.
I love it. Is I was called by Kyle Carter and was asked, because I had a trip to go over for a friend's wedding with Jen, and was asked to go and look at this horse for Kyle that actually Leslie Law had told him about.
Yeah.
And so we were like, yeah, sure, we'll do it. And we go and we look at this horse, and I called Kyle and I said, yeah, I mean, I think he's pretty good. I think he'll make an advanced horse. Seems all right. And years later, as you were doing all this great stuff with the horse, Kyle's like, I mean, yeah, you were right. It kind of made an advanced horse.
And it was fun because I took lessons on Colombo with Leslie.
Yep.
And then many years later, actually, Ollie Townend came over to do the Royal Winter Fair in Toronto, and he talked about riding Colombo.
Really?
So I didn't even know that.
Wow.
Yeah, so you and Leslie and Ollie and
And Kyle, yeah, I mean,
connected.
a lot
you
of
guys have
people.
got good taste. What can I say?
The other thing I was saying to Rick before the show is I nearly died on that trip seeing Colombo, because as we left the farm after I'd talked to Kyle on the phone, I was driving out and I looked left, I looked right, I looked left, and I pulled out, but I looked the wrong way for the traffic and I nearly got killed by a lorry. So could have not been a fun story.
We wouldn't be here to talk about it.
No. We would be somewhere else.
Well, some of us would.
Yeah, exactly. We all would be somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, and when you told that story, it's like weird how we're all interconnected.
The horse world is very
it's
small.
Very small. So tell us about your great horse, Foxwood High.
Oh my gosh, Foxwood High. The other good thing about moving to Caledon is I live about 40 minutes away from Woody.
Right.
So I get to go
Oh,
see him and
good.
give him mints and
How old is
treats
he
and
now?
everything. I think he must be 20,
Yeah.
close to 20. He is living his best life as a retired horse, and he literally has a shrine in the barn with all his ribbons and medals and photographs in the barn. And sadly, we lost Mr. Rumble this year, or just before this year, and I was going there for lessons with Crystal Boylan
Right.
with my current horse, MS Thunderbolt. So every time I went there, I would go out to the field with some carrots and mints and get to see him. And it was nice for John to have him there and be able to just go out and see him every day, because he was with me for like 7 or 8 years.
Right.
Yeah. So.
I think that's actually something that we should talk about was John Rumble, because he was obviously a great owner for you, but he was a pretty amazing horseman in his own right. So just tell us a little bit about him and how you ended up getting to know him and riding his horse.
It was through Colombo's owner. So Michael and Elaine Davies, when I moved to, so my mom is BHSI level coach, and they were at, when Checkmate became for sale, we actually leased the property right across the road from Checkmate. When Checkmate became for sale, Red Hills, which was one of my favorite events, I'm super sorry it's gone.
Yep.
John was looking for a rider for his horse, and Elaine said, "Watch Selena go cross country. Trust me, you're going to want to see her go cross country, and she might be the rider for you." So I have all that to be thankful for. And as per usual, Red Hills went really, really well for me with Colombo, and John agreed. So I went to his farm in Schoenberg called Foxwood Hill, and Jimmy Elder showed me the horse and just hopped around this course, and then they raised all the jumps, hopped around the course, and just handed me the horse. And I was like, that's a lot of pressure. And they decided I was the rider for him. And actually, Jimmy Elder's grandson, Chad, was the one who had the ride on Foxwood High, and he was learning eventing. And I think he took him up to the training level. Foxwood High was about 7 then. But he was going off to university. So I was actually only supposed to take Woody for the winter to Florida and everything. But then we just hit it off, and Chad ended up going and I think riding with Aaron Ballard and proceeding different avenues, and I got the ride with Foxwood High.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's a great story.
Yep.
And Red Hills is where that kind of transpired, and we are sorry Red Hills is gone.
Totally.
I know that was a great event. Sylvia and Sally that originated it did a great job getting it started. But take us on from there. So you got him at 7, and then
Within 2 years, he did the Pan American Games in Guadalajara. And I was the anchor, and I wasn't used to that position sort of thing. And I think what I did, like with the altitude and it being based on hills and everything, the horses were just getting really tired. So I was trying to, bring it up for the team, and I think I just pushed him so much that I didn't give him a breather. I've learned a lot since then, and I know at the top of hills you have to wait for them to go,
right,
which is what David taught me, and then go through. It was a bounce brush into water sort of thing. The horse was not a stopper or anything like that. He literally just ran out of wind, and he got to that brush and he just halted for a split second, and gave him a pat, circled around, jumped through, and everything was totally fine. And it just went on from there.
Right.
I got to do badminton. I'd done badminton with Colombo before, so Woody was definitely a badminton horse. And Mr. Rumble wanted to go back to badminton because the team trained for the Olympics at badminton. And
Back when he was doing it.
exactly,
Right.
yeah, 56, I believe.
We should talk about more. We're going to take a quick break and talk more about your trip over to Europe and what you did there. But
We should just say thank you to Stress Less for the Stress Less studio.
Correct.
Make sure you guys go to centerlinedistribution.net, use the promo code JR24.
did you not trust that I was going to do that?
No, I didn't.
Well,
And
thanks.
thank you to
Yep, to Equibrew. And you can also go on brickfieldnutrition.com. JR24 is the 20% discount for the Equibrew as well.
That's amazing. Good
Super.
job. Go
Thank you so
Equibrew.
much.
Looking to improve your style? Need a gift for that special client? Exceptional Equestrian's journey started with Cindy Lay. After retiring, Cindy began crafting halter and bridle charms, selling them from the berm of the Colorado Horse Park. What began as a part-time endeavor blossomed into a thriving business. With just her trusty Nissan Murano, Cindy traversed the country, attending horse shows from coast to coast. As demand grew, so did the business. Trailers turned into trucks, and trucks multiplied. Today, Exceptional Equestrian boasts 2 prime locations at the World Equestrian Center in Ocala. Their curated collection features premier brands such as Sam Shield, Equiline, 4 Horses, Ego 7, the Kenyon Collection, Vestrum, and Animo. From equestrian essentials to stylish apparel and home goods, they offer a diverse range of products. They also carry tailored Sportsman, Tipperary, RJ Classics, and a wide variety of home goods and tack. The dedicated team takes pride in providing top-notch customer service, from expert safety equipment fittings to crafting the perfect ensemble or finding the ideal gift for your trainer. Step into Exceptional Equestrian and transform your style journey with us.
Equibrew, now available in the USA. It's a live probiotic that you feed daily to your horses. The live microbes go into your horse's gut and cleans up the gut wall, creating a healthy gut system.
Equibrew is an essential part of my feeding program. My horses love to eat it, and it does a really good job of promoting gut health and also good behavior and great performances.
It's something I recommend for all of your horses, no matter what they do in their careers.
It's so affordable, I can use it on all of my horses in the barn, not just my top horses.
Order Equibrew today by going to brickfieldnutrition.com or calling 850-879-2649.
Grant Showalter has over 15 years of equine bodywork and saddle fitting experience. His technique allows him to identify and alleviate tightness in muscles. He uses trigger point massage to release points of restriction. Grant has over a decade of experience fitting and adjusting a wide variety of saddles. His expertise in equine physiology, coupled with a thorough understanding of the importance of a properly fitted saddle, allows him to quickly identify and correct any balance issues. Grant can also adjust your saddle on site. Grant works on all of my competition horses, and I have noticed a significant improvement in their performance at competitions and their overall way of going. Grant's based in Ocala, Florida year-round, but regularly travels to the surrounding areas. For more information or to schedule an appointment, call 484-639-4454.
Hi, my name's Leslie Law, and we are a proud supporter of Jump for Joy. We've been using their portable cross-country jumps now for about 10 to 15 years. We love these jumps because, as you can see, they're very easy to move. It would only take another person on the other side, and I could place this fence wherever I wanted to very easily.
Welcome back to the John and Rick Show, brought to you by Horse Trailer Pros. We're here in the Stress Less studio, and we are in the Exceptional Equestrian segment. Exceptional Equestrian is an awesome tack store over at World Equestrian Center here in Ocala. It is so cool. We went there to film the commercial, and I mean, it's got everything.
Everything.
Have you been in there yet, Selena?
No, I was a kid in a candy shop. I dare not go.
Oh, you'd be broke.
That's
Yep,
amazing.
exactly.
So, it's John's birthday.
Well, happy birthday.
Happy
to
birthday,
you.
John.
Happy
I wanna
birthday
say-
to you.
Yeah,
Happy
what do you want to
birthday,
say?
I want to
John.
say, because it's my birthday,
Happy birthday to
that
you.
I'm sorry Yvonne Ocrant can't come on the show anymore because she is the one who said it was my birthday.
Yeah, well, it's okay. We have Botox back over here, so after,
Thank you.
after
We're
we're done,
Well, the Botox
we're
party
doing
for
a
my
Botox
birthday.
party.
That's awesome.
I'm so happy it's your birthday.
So
on
am I,
this
'cause if it
100th
weren't, it-
episode,
Yes.
even though it's not the
perfect.
date. Yeah, it's 100th episode. So.
Yes. Yeah.
Well,
Very
congratulations on making it this far.
That's kind of, I'm surprised. I'm as surprised as anybody. Here we are.
Yeah, here we are. We were just talking about going to Europe. And how many trips over did you make?
I've done it 3 times. I first did it with Colombo. Don't ask me what year because I can't actually remember.
That's okay.
And then I did it after winning Fair Hill with Woody. And then I did attempt it again. And sadly, while I was over there, he acquired his career kind of ending injury, and I wasn't able to compete the last time.
Oh, well, you got there 3 times. You won Fair Hill. What do you remember?
I think it was 2017.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I remember that. I just didn't remember the year, but I remember you winning it.
Yes.
So that was kind of a big thing to win Fair Hill.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And I couldn't be happier that it happened for John. Mr. Rumble is not only a huge supporter of me and many riders before me, but the sport in Canada, and an athlete of excellence in his own pursuit. He has the 5 Rings book and written about him, and he actually wrote a book called Kilroy about his Olympic mount.
Oh wow.
Yeah, amazing.
He was a pretty
cool guy, huh?
Very humble.
Oh, yeah.
You would never know it. Like, I met him because Jen was a selector for the team at the time, and you know, you get to know the owners and things like that when you're a selector. So I sort of met him in passing, and I had no idea who he was. I was just like, hey, it's just some guy who owns Selena's horse.
He had a cool name.
Yeah.
Rumble.
And then I got to know, and I was like, wow, he's like pretty impressive, and you never would have known. Just a very nice man.
Yes.
So Selena, I was watching you at the events, and you've got a really nice advanced horse now.
Yes, and he now officially is an advanced horse because we actually went clear.
Yeah, he looked great.
He's a phenomenal jumper. I got the opportunity to go.
So what's his name?
MS Thunderbolt.
Okay.
We call him Ollie or Oliver in the barn.
Right.
And I found him through Hutchinson Sport Horses. And I think it was 4 years ago. I got the opportunity to go over to Ireland. I am the sort of person who, with my mother's help, purchases kind of off-the-track thoroughbreds and brings them up, and if they can make it, great, and if they can't, you have to start again, sort of thing. But this time I had some backers, and I went to Ireland and I tried horses and looked at horses, which I can see why people love the pros and cons of that. It's very intense, but it was lovely to do it in Ireland.
It's pretty fun.
One day I think I sat on 22 horses. And he could jump so well. I'm keeping this video I have of him. He was in a place where the lady and her mother ran a competitive barn and a riding school, and the mud was literally up to their knees. And there's a beginner kind of pony club camp lesson going on. There must have been 10 or 12 ponies all lined up, and they're going around, and the lesson seemed to go on forever. And I really, just wanted to try some extended trot, and obviously I'm going to jump them, but I was looking at horses between the ages of 5 and 6, if possible, that had done a little bit so that I could bring them on a little quicker. And Oliver kept like twitching his ear every once in a while when he would go past the line of ponies. So I'm trying to do kind of medium trot in the mud up to my knees across the diagonal, and there's this one little pony, a tiny little chestnut and white paint. And you know how they put the binder twine from your D-rings through the brow band to there to stop them eating grass?
Yeah, like
and stuff?
anti-grazing strap.
That was not why that one had it. He was at the back of the line, and Oliver's going across, and he stopped, backed up, and double-barreled at Oliver, and Oliver skittered across. And oh my gosh! So I've kept that video so that one day, if the horse makes it to the games or something, we can all post about poor Oliver being chased by this pint-sized pony.
I can't wait to see it.
That's a great story.
Yeah. He was such a good jumper that my mom and I, he's only 40% blood. His sire is Vingino, who's doing the Sunshine Tour, is a Grand Prix. His mother's side is eventing and that sort of thing. He had only done the introduction to eventing kind of classes, but he'd done a little bit of show jumping. But he was such a good jumper that my mom and I couldn't leave him behind.
Right.
And we thought, you know what, if he doesn't make an event or whatever, then maybe I'll learn something about show jumping or whatever. But he was a jump I had to have in my barn.
Well, evidently you picked the right one.
Yeah, no, he really is. And I was worried about his fitness. It did take a long time to bring him up to, especially cardio and that sort of thing. Everything's too easy for him, so he doesn't always use himself as well as he should. But that's why I moved to Caledon, so I could be on the hills and those sort of things. And last year and this year, he's really come up. And after I gallop him and everything, I'm very pleased with his cardio and that sort of thing. And he is spending a little bit less time in the air, so it's easier to make time on cross country. Show jumping, my most recent event at Rocking Horse, twice had 0.8 penalties in the time, and I purely think it's air time. But
How old is he now?
he will be 10. I think he's 10.
Yeah.
We lost a year with COVID. I didn't come down to Florida in 2021, and then I had an unfortunate accident and wrecked my left leg, so I kind of wasn't able to bring him up then, but he probably needed that time to fit up and stuff anyway, and now it's really been about teaching him, narrows. He's very, very careful, so he doesn't like touching flags and all those sorts of things, and the courses have become so technical. But we nailed it at the last rocking horse, and I added strides in every single combination except 3.
Right.
But it was just about getting between the flags, and I'll build confidence from that, and he will trust that I'm not going to bang him into any flags, and I think it's going to go super well because
Might be important here in the future
could-
for our
it
event.
could
His
be.
flags might be a penalty.
Yeah, exactly.
What's your plan for the spring? Are you taking it a horse trial at a time, or?
Yes, I wanted to do rocking horse. I was trying to qualify him for the Pan Ams last year. My fall wasn't as good. It started off great. Being in Florida, I had access to a lot of cross-country schooling at the level. Being in Ontario, it's not as easy. You have to incorporate kind of intermediate questions and then add on whatever you need with polls and standards sort of thing. And I think he just needed that experience. He was only getting the experience in competition, and it just wasn't enough. And I try to protect my horses. I try to only run them once a month, that sort of thing. So I did some 4-stars, and he was brilliant. I just had hiccups here and there. I wasn't disappointed. It didn't discourage me. However, I'm back at it, and I've been working with Liz Halliday. She has an incredible playground of all the best skinnies and mounds and all that sort of stuff, and it paid off. And now I just turn up the volume and try to make the time gradually.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Well, that's excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the show jumping, I'm assuming, like you were saying, he was a little slow at rocking horse.
Yes.
But don't you think, like, in that ring, it's hard?
It's hard
because there's nowhere to cut turns. There's no inside lines to speak of in any of those tracks. There's one track, you ride it, and with a horse like that, because he's big warm blood, I'm assuming, not big warm blood, but because he's not thoroughbred, I'm assuming you can make inside turns and be more handy.
And Woody taught me that. I mean, if I can get, Woody was a horse that taught me a lot about making the time by tightening up your lines and adding strides to verticals instead of oxers and things like that. I can do it on that horse as well because he's such a careful show jumper. The show jumping and the dressage has come along. It's new to me to not be as successful in cross country, and I didn't let it get me down, and now I'm sure I can just teach him. Woody was one of the straightest horses in the end I've ever ridden.
Right.
So I'm sure that I will get it out of this horse.
Well, he looked great at rocking horse. Where do you run him next?
Chat Hills.
I'll be there. I'll cheer you on.
Yeah. I haven't been back there since right before WEG in 2010.
No kidding.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful place. You'll
I'm
love
ready
it.
to go. Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for coming in. We appreciate it. We are going to take a break, and we're going to be back with Yvonne Ocrant, even though she spilled the beans. And thank you to Exceptional Equestrian for sponsoring this segment. And
about them real quick before we go, they have a great Kenyan line. From the
wait.
You have there you go.
There it is, right there.
So tribes
that a birthday
women
belt?
out of Africa make these beaded
awesome.
belts and stuff, and she has a workshop in Nairobi. Brings them over, sells them in her shop. All the proceeds go to the women in Africa. I think that's cool.
And,
Incredible.
I mean, honestly, that's the best part.
Yes.
But I'll say, when I got the belt, I thought, there's a lot of beads on there. I wonder how that's going to hold up to, like...
Yeah.
I've had this belt for over a year and a half.
Nice.
And not a single bead has fallen off.
Pretty cool.
It hasn't stretched. It is tough and durable.
And not to mention all the great clothes and everything she has in there besides the belts and,
it's an
and jewelry.
awesome shop. So, let's take a break.
All right.
Thank you, Selena.
Cheers.
Really appreciate it. Go Canada.
Much appreciated.
We'll be right back. Looking to improve your style? Need a gift for that special client? Exceptional Equestrian's journey started with Cindy Lay. After retiring, Cindy began crafting halter and bridle charms, selling them from the berm of the Colorado Horse Park. What began as a part-time endeavor blossomed into a thriving business. With just her trusty Nissan Murano, Cindy traversed the country, attending horse shows from coast to coast. As demand grew, so did the business. Trailers turned into trucks, and trucks multiplied. Today, Exceptional Equestrian boasts 2 prime locations at the World Equestrian Center in Ocala. Their curated collection features premier brands such as Sam Shield, Equiline, 4 Horses, Ego 7, the Kenyan Collection, Vestrum, and Animo. From equestrian essentials to stylish apparel and home goods, they offer a diverse range of products. They also carry tailored Sportsman, Tipperary, RJ Classics, and a wide variety of home goods and tack. The dedicated team takes pride in providing top-notch customer service, from expert safety equipment fittings to crafting the perfect ensemble or finding the ideal gift for your trainer. Step into exceptional equestrian and transform your style journey with us. Jump for Joy fences are easy to move, lightweight, durable, and low maintenance. So we're out here on the cross country. We just finished over in the show jumping over the Jump for Joy fences. Had a great time schooling over them. They're really nice and easy to move, so we were able to adjust some things and really have the exact school that we needed thanks to the Jump for Joy fences. I love them. Order yours at jumpforjoyusa.com.
Aero helmets represent real change for equestrian helmets, offering patented new technology and an unparalleled level of safety testing. It is the only Snell-certified helmet with MIPS on the market. Aero visors are interchangeable, meaning you can wear your Aero 3 ways, with a formal visor, a sun visor, and as a skull cap. Our shimmable liner means you can customize the fit for your head and your hairstyle. Upgrade to Aero today.
Since 1950, Maison Forestier has been offering its know-how to design custom-made saddles for passionate riders. In 2016, Maison Forestier took a turn and expanded into the sports world with the goal of improving the performance of the rider-horse pair. You will find a professional, reactive, and fun team to answer your needs. And this is why I have chosen Forestier for all of my saddlery needs. Feel free to contact the saddle expert in your area for more information by visiting www.forestier.com. Hey, it's John here. I just want to let you guys know I got back from schooling at Magnolia Sands Farm here in Ocala, Florida. Their cross-country field is perfectly suited for a first outing on a young horse or schooling your upper-level horse. Magnolia Sands offers over 110 jumps ranging from starter to intermediate, plus multiple banks, ditches, and waters. They're constantly updating their courses and have even added new ditches and a starter ditch wall. Conveniently located in Northeast Ocala, Magnolia Sands has made it easy for riders and trainers with online waivers, Venmo, and PayPal, and even offer a golf cart for guests. MagnoliaSandsFarm.com.
Welcome back to the John and Rick Show, brought to you by Horse Trailer Pros. We are in the Stress Less Studios. John, there is a code that we can do for 20% discount. What is that?
It is JR24, Rick.
That was it.
You got to go to centerlinedistribution.net.
Very good.
And then you use JR24.
You're really good at that, so I wanted to throw it over real quick.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
We are joined by Yvonne Ocrant. Thank you for being here with us. I know you well, but everybody out there coming onto the show, you are a lawyer. And I find your specialty in equine law very helpful. Why don't you tell us what you do? And not only I believe you ride with John, correct?
I do ride with John, and one of my favorite lines was when John was helping me with a difficult horse that would strike out at the ditch, and John stood in front of the ditch, and he says, "What do you do if your lawyer's horse kicks your trainer?" I said, "You get a new lawyer." So,
that was good.
Yeah, no,
I'm full of good lines.
So yeah, no, I've been a writer my whole life, and so when I went to law school, got my first job at a big law firm in Chicago, and wanted to make partner, I realized you can't work for somebody else and make partner at the law firm. So I had to get my own book of business, and to do that, I took something I was already passionate about and studied about the laws that affect what we do with horses. And I realized real quickly that the industry was underrepresented by anyone who understood horses and what we do with horses. So how can I be a better advocate for a sport that I'm already passionate about? I think I could do a better job than any of the lawyers that were working the industry at that time. So starting with my law firm, got a lot of experience in litigation and writing contracts. After about 5 years, realized that I could take this on and represent the horse industry, started writing contracts. Got my first case early on in my career, and 7 years into my law practice, I made partner at the firm because I was bringing in the business for the industry, and the firm still doesn't know what I do with horses or why I go to Florida for the winter, but as long as the money comes in and the hours are billed, they're happy. So fast forward, I'm now an owner in my firm. I'm an equity partner. And 98% of my practice is representing the equine industry, everything
That's
from
incredible.
drafting contracts to actually litigating those cases that either test those contracts or just some deals go bad or somebody gets hurt. I'm always, I shouldn't say always, but 99% of the time I'm on the defense side. I'm representing our sport, our industry, to make sure that we can keep doing what we're doing, maybe just do it a little bit better.
Yeah. And there, not only that, but you also volunteer your services. So you USEA, you help with the bylaws and some other things there, correct?
Right. I sit on as many boards as I can as a legal advocate. I think I can bring an interesting perspective, whether as an advisory council on the Board of Governors or any of my local area committees they ask me to sit on, and I don't represent them legally, but I provide legal insight into the common questions that we have, whether it's rules drafting or enforcement or committee management, is, everything from the future bidding of new facilities to see are there any legal loopholes that might need to be addressed.
Which is important. I also know, I know John's got tons of questions, but we came into really knowing each other when you do what a lot of people need help with, and that's syndicates. You help us with the Simply Priceless Syndicate, and I knew that just through knowing John and some other people that used you. So that's one of your big things that you do, and you do very well. But you were just at WEC. So what were you doing at WEC?
So I, as you said, I do a lot of pro bono work. I do a lot of volunteer services as a lawyer, but I also present nationwide for different organizations, different associations, and different organizations that are really trying to help our riders transition from being great riders to great professionals to run a business. I think the sustainability of our sport relies on our riders becoming business owners and sustaining their business by earning a living, not just standing in the arena, but how can they make their business bigger than themselves. Part of that is taking consideration for contract drafting, contract enforcement, really running it more like a business than just a hobby. And so I was just at WEC presenting for a company called Next Level that does exactly that. They take actually either existing professionals or up and coming professionals to teach them how to be most profitable. We can actually make money doing what we love to do, taking them down a more professional path. George Morris did it for USAF many years ago, just creating that business track for our young professionals, whether they're coming through a graduate program or even the young event horse professionals. You get some of these riders that have young horses and they're promoting this business, but they're not running it like a business. So I take every opportunity I can. Just a quick plug, March 5th, Sinead is hosting a syndication event over at at one of her clients' facilities. I also have to thank, I have friends like, hi Mike, I'm supposed to say hi to Mike Friend. He was introduced to John many years ago as part of a syndicate opportunity, and not only did they get great horses together and help build John's facility here, but a great friendship. And so I find that the success of the syndicate depends on putting the right people with the right riders and obviously with the right horses, and you're creating our sport more than just putting the right horses with the right riders, but getting a group of individuals together that can support our sport for the long term, that actually can enjoy the process rather than just stress about how much it costs and how much work it is, but do it as a team. I think really is the future of our sustainability of the sport.
And thank you for that, Mike. It's been great. And it is about putting the right people together, Rick, because I met Mike, taught him in a clinic. I shot him off of his horse, separated his shoulder, and he's still here, stuck with me. It was amazing.
Complaining about pennies.
Yeah, right, exactly. That's amazing. So no, thanks for that. Yeah. So I think one of the cool things is, which you sort of touched on in the beginning, but like, you're not a lawyer who does equine law. You're a horsewoman who is a lawyer who does equine law, and I think that's
a pretty good connection. I think
it's super important. I think because I'm gonna ask a question. What did you do first? Did you ride a horse first, or did you try a case?
Well, since I was 7 when I started riding,
right? So no legal work before that.
Rode first,
okay.
and then
not in kindergarten or anything.
Okay, just making sure. But I think that's important.
Yeah.
No, it is, and people ask me a lot. Are there other people that do what you do? Are there other equine lawyers? And I'll say yes, there are. But here's why I'm different. One is I was a rider before I was a lawyer. I'm still a rider. I am at a large law firm with over 500 attorneys. We have 23 offices nationwide. So when I meet clients, wherever I meet them, they come to Florida for the winter, they're going to go back to New York, or they go back to California, wherever they live. They're not here full time. My support of them as their lawyer can follow them wherever they go. Because of where all my offices are, I am not geographically limited. So I think the value add that I bring is not only understanding the sport as a fellow equestrian, but I can also represent my clients in transactional matters and litigation matters wherever they find themselves in trouble or needing to get a deal done. And I also say that the other lawyers that practice in this industry are not riders. Maybe they were at one time, or their kids ride, or if a male, his wife rode. They don't have the boots on the ground perception that I have. And my other value add, which I think both of you can attest to, is I'm always there to solve a problem. A lot of lawyers are just there to fight. They're there to argue. They're there to bill their hours and make their money. My first impression of a case is, what's the problem and can I solve it? It might take time, it might take negotiations, but I always ask of my clients to trust the process and trust that I am into solving this problem as much as you are, even though I'm the one that puts on the suit and argues to the judge or the jury or with opposing counsel. I always have their best intentions, and sometimes that means settling a case, sometimes it means fighting the good fight, but I always have their best interest at heart. Not only as a lawyer, but as a fellow equestrian. I'd rather see you guys spend your time and your money on your horses than on the lawyers.
Well, I think that's a good point, because I think you hit it on the head when you said you're actively a horsewoman. So like, we've had stuff together and I didn't have to go into an hour and a half explaining anything, which I would have obviously been billed for, because you already had the information within your knowledge and experience that deleted that from our conversation. So that's why I love using you, because I always go, just use Yvonne because she's ahead of the game and you can get right to the source of what's going on. So I appreciate that very much. And thanks for helping me many times over.
Well, thanks for letting me help.
Definitely.
I also get judges who, my office is in my tack room. So my husband, my trainer, will walk by from time to time putting tack and equipment away. And the judges, I've had different judges ask me, wow, that's an interesting backdrop. And I turn around and move a saddle off the rack. And I say, it's not a backdrop. I am sitting where, in this environment that I'm speaking to about. And it gives me credibility with the judges that, well, she must know what she's talking about because she's sitting in a barn to talk to me.
Yeah, I think it's an important part. Let's do this. Let's take a break, and then we're going to come back. I have a couple other things I want to ask you about. I'm sure Rick has a whole bunch of
stuff.
I
want to ask her about our sport. Yeah, she's in it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So if you don't mind sticking around?
Love to.
All right, awesome. We're going to be right back.
For a horse owner on the road, your trailer is essential. No one enjoys being stuck on the road. At Horse Trailer Pros, we repair, renovate, and maintain all makes and models of horse trailers. We work directly with your insurance company or manufacturer for warranty repairs and insurance claims. Our state-of-the-art facility provides quick turnaround and friendly customer service. Considering a living quarter conversion? We do those too. Find comfort on the road with Horse Trailer Pros. Call or text 352-804-2131. HorseTrailerPros.com.
Welcome to The Hunt. The pursuit of greatness awaits, and we're on a mission to conquer our goals. Every step we take, every lift we make, we are driven by an insatiable hunger for excellence. There are no limits, no boundaries that can hold us back. We may have different objectives, but we share a common purpose: to push beyond our limits and achieve the extraordinary. Like a pack of fierce and unstoppable warriors, we stand united, a community of relentless individuals who refuse to settle for mediocrity. Obstacles, they're just stepping stones on our path to success. We welcome them, learn from them, and rise above them. We celebrate each other's victories and lift each other higher, inspiring greatness in one another. At CrossFit eFit, we don't just hunt for success, we embody it, breathe it, and conquer it. Prepare yourself, because this isn't for the faint-hearted. This is for those who crave the thrill of pushing beyond the ordinary. CrossFit eFit, on the hunt.
Welcome back to the John and Rick Show, brought to you by Horse Trailer Pros. We are in our 100th episode, Yvonne, and we are in Stressless Studios, where you could go to centerlinedistribution.net with the code JR24 and get a 20% discount on Stressless.
I am so impressed with you.
Well, I took some before I did that, so I felt very stressless. Awesome. Thanks for staying with us. I know we had a lot of conversations about what you do, but I think What I want to talk to you about is our sport. There's a lot of changing happening. We're talking about the Olympics changing. You've dealt with me on some FEI issues. We talked about it in the opening about the pennies at Ocala, just a lot of things. Where are you in our sport, and how do you feel being on the board for the USEA? How do you feel we're doing right now in this time?
As a fellow competitor versus being a lawyer versus sitting on a board of governors, I wear a lot of different hats, and I feel it gives me the advantage of bringing different perspective. They're not always aligned. Also being married to my trainer, I also get another perspective, and it's not John, it's my husband Rob.
Just to be clear, Yvonne and I are not married.
Barn wife. So I have to say that also being a glass half full kind of person,
right.
I will have my 10 minutes of complaining about change and how it detrimentally affects what we come to be comfortable with. But as a lawyer, I also have to say, all right, I lost that motion. What did I learn from that? I can do better on the next one. Or, I took my wins where I can, because they don't come very often in some of these bigger cases. I look at our sport the same way and say, yeah, change is hard. I don't know our sport from the highest levels like you guys do, or from back in the day, like more of our seasoned athletes. But I have to look at all these changes as there's always change. And so can we take any of these differences and say, all right, well, how can we work with those, as opposed to grumbling about them and saying, well, this is going to change our sport. So we're shortening the dressage time so we can stay in the Olympics for television. We're shortening the cross-country courses so we can stay on television. Okay, yeah, it's hard, but if we want to stay in the Olympics, we got to make these changes.
Right.
And it's the same thing I see with the Board of Governors too, that there's a lot of conversation. I mean, there are deep dives. No decision is made easily, especially with the rule changes. But I think it's always about the greater good for the future of our sport and the sustainability. And with social licensing being kind of the buzzword now, you have to move with the change, otherwise you will be left behind. And I think that that's really important for us to all keep in mind, both in our everyday work when I come in as a lawyer and I say, okay, I understand that somebody did you wrong, or I understand that,
Sure.
This horse wasn't what you thought you bought, but let's go forward. And as I said before about solving the problem, this is a problem, let's see if we can fix it, rather than putting ourselves down and getting almost stymied by the frustration and not moving forward, and focus on what we can do with that in our next steps.
Your thoughts?
Well, the sort of piggybacking on that, it's a little bit the same question, I guess, in a way, but I think it's different. If it's not, tell me I'm an idiot and we'll move on. But if you had a young professional come up to you and say, look, I want to start my business, I want to start making a proper business out of this, what advice would you give them? Or maybe even a better question is, what is the one biggest mistake that you see people in that situation make from your angle as a lawyer?
As a lawyer, I would say the biggest mistake I see is them not treating their business as a business. They're still treating it as a hobby, as a sport, and not as a business. So for example, if you are running a business and everything's in your own name, if you get sued and you have a judgment entered against you, it's all of your money that is subject to that judgment. If you own a horse in an LLC and that horse injures somebody and there's a judgment entered against the owner of the horse, it's just that LLC. It's not all the money in your bank account. It's not your home. It's not all the other assets that you have. And so when I advise my clients to set up an LLC to protect their business, then you got to run it like an LLC. You have to have a separate bank account for that LLC. You have to have contracts entered into your boarding contract, your training agreements are the LLC entering into the contract. And so they'll have good intentions and they'll come to me and I'll do all this work, then they don't have the liability release assigned, or they don't have a separate bank account for that LLC. I'm looking at you, but I love you. It's actually your wife I have to talk to.
Okay, go ahead.
Wait a minute, you don't?
No, I do. I was just thinking of all the releases sitting in there that people come to school.
Oh,
And I'm
okay.
like, yeah, they're in there. Go get them.
No, of course, I can only do so much. But if you would ask me the biggest mistake, it's that they have good intentions. And that's why I try to put myself out there as a member of the team, is to say, look, I drafted this liability release. I'm not going to just send you off and be gone. You have my cell phone number. Call me, text me, and say, I have this person coming to try a horse for sale. Should I have them sign my liability release? I'll give you that advice. Should they have the mom who's coming to watch the kids ride the horse? Should they sign the release? Anybody on your property signs your release. So the point is that I can give practical advice that people can use right now to protect themselves from liability and run their business better. And I think that's where the future of our sport has to go to stay afloat.
And I mean, and to that point, I mean, it's not just as easy as opening an LLC or having a checking account, right? You have to get involved with separation of those fundings and accounts. You got to figure out how you work that LLC and the funds that come into it, and then you got to have a bookkeeper or somebody that has QuickBooks knowledge that can do your accounts, send them to your tax accountant, and get the deductions and stuff that you want to do. But like you're saying, the first step is really starting the separation of state, I'm going to call it. So that's good advice for everybody out there.
And I try to encourage my clients to don't think of contracts as one more thing I have to do. Think of it as an opportunity to test the waters on your new clients, right? If a client comes in and you have your I do one-page liability releases. That's my rule. Keep it simple. One-page liability release, and you say, hey, welcome to my farm. Everybody who comes out, my insurance company, my lawyer, blame it on us, has to sign a release. And they say, I don't sign releases. That's not a client you want to have. If you have a boarding contract and they say, oh, I want to scratch this off and taking out the release language, sorry, can't help you. Those are the people that are going to complain that they've been charged for fly spray, right? Those are the people that are going to complain when the farrier's a day late and now I'm going to, leave your barn because my horse's feet weren't done. Test the waters with those, I call them red flag clients, with the very simple tasks of signing your liability release, signing your boarding contract, agreeing to a 30-day notice before they leave. Things that you can put in writing, because this is the honeymoon stage. This is when they should agree to anything you ask of them, because in that divorce stage, they're not going to agree to anything, and unless it's in writing, it doesn't exist.
And I can add on to that if you do have clients that come on, and let's say, okay, I'm going to do full training, but I'm not going to charge you for that this month. You should still put it on their invoice, full training. It was $500, no charge this month. That way, they're seeing what they're getting, and it's just not, but you always give that to me. So to me, my advice out there is make sure you always put down what you're doing. Otherwise, they never know.
No, it's great. It's a great point, and about the biggest mistakes that people make, and this applied to the presentation I did at WEC, is if it's not in writing, it doesn't exist, and I say that a lot because clients won't agree to what's in writing, what's not in writing. They'll even take something that's in writing and not agree to it. But I always feel that if you can look at your contracts as you're making your case. I hate to be, kind of negative about it, but my world evolves around the fire's already started. How can I put it out? And if you come to me with the contract that was signed, I have something I can work with. If you come to me and say, Yvonne, you're going to be mad at me, I know you wrote all those contracts for me and I never had them signed. So now I'm trying to build a case.
I'll put the releases in the parking lot, okay? I do the best I can. They got to walk through the studio, get into the... All right.
I didn't sign the one I drafted for you until the second year after I wrote it for you.
I'm going to send my lawyer to talk to you.
Just do DocuSign. It's really easy.
Yeah, it is really easy.
Yeah.
But you're creating the facts that I need to defend you, whether it's in a contract dispute or, God forbid, somebody gets hurt or a horse gets hurt. You're making your case. And then the other piece of advice I gave this past week at WEC was don't hit send on that email when you're mad. Anything you put in writing can and will be used against you. And you see it in cases now where it's Exhibit A, Exhibit B was an email that you sent when you were mad, or that text message that you sent when you were mad. And what do clients do wrong is think about every text message as a representation of yourself in your business, not just as a rider.
Good advice.
Every text message, every voicemail message. With electronic discovery now, I spend half of my days in litigation working with my IT department. We are scouring people's text messages and emails. Yes, all of your electronic data gets downloaded into my computer, and I have to read all of your dirty jokes and look at all the silly photographs.
So
I'm getting less comfortable with every word.
The photos do upload too.
Yeah. If you hire me, I can't be adverse to you. There's some good advice. So anything you put in your phone and in your computer can be read and will be used against you. So just be smarter about your written communications, even in an angry face. Type it out. Type it out all day long. Make a 4-page nasty email. Call them every name in the book, and then hit delete.
Right. It's a very, very good advice, because I think a lot of people do send things out of anger. And I've been angry before, but I typically don't send.
I send a lot of angry texts to Rick. Is that going to be a problem?
It's all right. It's just you.
Okay. One thing, just complete transition, but I think is kind of fun because they're a sponsor of our show and advertise on our show, is Yvonne is also like super fit CrossFit girl now, and
Oh,
she goes
look at
CrossFit
that.
eFit with Vilma, and is like
That's cool.
way more dedicated to it than I am. So I just thought we should give a shout out to Vilma and CrossFit eFit as well at the end here.
All my love to Coach Vilma.
Yeah, she's awesome. She's
Thanks for
awesome.
being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
And everybody out there, again, syndicates, LLCs, any kind of question, any kind of thing that you're going through, get a hold of Yvonne.
If I can just say for everyone who hears of me from the show, call me, free 1-hour consultation. I will talk to
Wow,
you.
listen to that.
We'll go through whatever you need.
Do you
We'll
need
spend an
to
hour.
put your number on? Do you want to do that or?
No, let me
Yeah.
give you my office numbers, 312-704-3080, or shoot me an email, my first initial and my last name, Ocrant at Hinshallah, HINSHAWLAW.com. Let me know that you heard of me on the John and Rick Show, and we'll spend an hour together and see how I can help.
Wow,
use
that's
use
super.
the promo code JR24.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the universal promo code. I love it. All right, Yvonne, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and this was awesome. Episode 100.
End of 100th episode, 5 years of the show.
And what did we say the party's going to be? March 24th. We might need to get a lawyer to do a release for that
Releases.
party ahead of time. We'll discuss that after the show.
Happy to do it.
All right, awesome. We have an awesome show for you guys today.
The greatest eventer of all time.
Good news for the sport.